Alright, real quick, let's get the boring preamp out of the way. Wuthering Waves is a gacha game made by Kurogame. Yes, I know I'm saying that wrong. In case you don't know what a gacha game is, it's a genre of game in which you get units via rolling with special currency. So in other words, you gamble for dummy mommies. Now from there, Kurogame is a company known to take bosses, inject them with enough steroids to kill an African bush elephant, and then give them to you as playable characters. And so we have Wuthering Waves, what feels like the love child of Kurogame spliced with the DNA of that one game which has people I heavily relate to. And yes, the thread is actually 300 tweets long. So all of this is the introduction to Wuthering Waves, which I think will be one of the most popular gacha games when it drops. In case you still don't know what a Wuthering of the Waves is, it's best described as an open world action game that tries to make every attack you do feel like the finishing move for a 100 episode arc of Dragon Ball. Your moveset comprised of methods of mass destruction include basic attacks, studied under the art of Virgil, what Jujutsu Kaisen Curse Clash wishes it could be, drums, for whatever reason, and the ancient mythical art of a fucking Glock. From there, resonator skills are what make the characters really unique. They range from summoning a Beyblade, slamming a doll into the ground, wish that shit was me, and having a child cosplay an F-18. Then there's ultimates including literally Lee, Colonel Mustang, and a psych ward patient being released. Intro and outro skills play when you build up max concerto energy. Don't ask me why it sounds like Beethoven coined that term. And when you swap characters, it clears the energy, allowing the new character to instant transmission to the soon-to-be diced meat. Now across your adventures in exterminating the local burn victims, you will use many different characters, like Kenjaku and Sephiroth's love child, Dilf Zhao, the unfurried femboy, and literally Vera. I'm not even capping on this one, they literally just put Vera in the game, just like how they also put pairing in the game. Granted, they did that shit much better, cause in this game you get a circle as big as Jupiter to signify a parry. Whilst in PGR you did the integral gacha mechanic of rolling a die, cause who the hell knows what was parryable and that shit. So that's a framework of the combat, which is why I'm happy to announce that just like me and cocaine, this shit comes together to be perfect. With every move you do in a fight, you get the equivalent feeling to injecting a stim. You're launching out character skills, hitting perfect dodges to use unique moves, whipping out the grappling hook to hit him with the Aerith special, casting ultimates to wish you were a chair, and using a raving turtle. Wait, I forgot to talk about the Pokemon system in this game. So upon displacing a random species' family, you have a chance to ghetto their bitch asses. From there, you can devil trigger into them, and yes, this includes bosses. A coked out pigeon, you can transform into that. An Australian spider, you can transform into that. A monkey, you can transform into that. Damn. This life finally has competition, don't it? Now with all these combat abilities listed out, two things become apparent. One, Kurogame was not playing with this game, and two, holy fuck, I'm always doing something in combat. To measure it on a scale, we're putting a turn-based game on one end. Just a simple by-the-books turn-based adventure where you can chill and plan out 3 moves ahead. On the complete other side of the scale is the epileptic warning known as Ultra Kill. Yeah, this lands more in that territory. I can be fighting a drugged-out group of bumblebees, but I will still be enthralled by all the shit I get to do in combat. Honestly, in any fight, I walked in, threw shit at the enemy, looked cool, somehow won, lost everything I gained on gambling. There probably is an optimal team comp or rotation, but I quite honestly cannot find it within me to care. People say waifu over meta or that not following a tier list means your gameplay will feel like an 18th century peasant inflicted with the Black Plague. And quite honestly, in this game, I don't give a shit. All the characters I've used are fun to play, Baiji excluded. I don't know what the fuck they were cooking with her. But they feel so good to the point where I actively do not care about the meta. Hell, Sanhua is weak as shit. Her ult's damage doesn't reflect the feeling of me encasing the local innocent wildlife in a deep freeze to then give back shots to. Hell no, its damage is the equivalent to me pitifully throwing melted ice cubes at them. So people of the waifu over meta squadron or the tier list slaves, in this game, both of you are wrong. Unless the waifu is Yinlin. But I'm just gonna use whoever is really damn fun to play, and most of these characters are. Objectively, sure, some, honestly, probably most, 5 stars are easily stronger than the 4 stars. Like at first I was disappointed with getting this random child in my gacha, but I said, fuck it, might as well try her out. She then proceeded to show why violence against children is not acceptable. It isn't on any moral basis, no. It's not acceptable because the children will just run your fucking pockets if you dare to do so. She's broken as shit. and I would have a hard time placing any 4-star above her in terms of strength, with the exception of hentai protagonist hair over there, cause from what I heard, she's broken as shit. Now this isn't to say that the gap between 4 stars and 5 stars is astronomical, but it is to say that the gap is there and some 4 stars are actively trying to widen that shit with the jaws of life. I haven't been able to use all the characters as the CBT is sticking to its title and forcing us to gacha for the units, so I ain't exactly about to come in here and tier list characters who will definitely experience balance changes prior to the game dropping, especially when I haven't been able to use all of them. Though I will come in here and say that we are only in the second CBT, the Sounding Arc, and these characters already feel unique to play. A ton of games I play have the character roster be the equivalent to a package of gummy bears. That is to say, they all may look different, but on the inside they're made of melted animal bone. Okay, I don't think that was the point I was trying to make. Here's the thing, the combat of the game before it's even fully done cooking is already really damn addicting. These characters all play different to each other and have god tier designs that only continue to expose the back fetish Kurogame has. So at this point in the game, I for once didn't care to come in with thoughts of who's meta, what's the optimal rotation. I instead just wanted to play. Go into combat, finger fuck my keyboard like it was on the casting couch, and slowly get better at fighting all the bosses in the game. That may sound like the most monkey-brained, simplest shit ever, but I'll be damned if the game doesn't make it work. Don't get it twisted. There is a lot of depth within the combat, but where it has complexity for people to spend 20 days of their life theory crafting for a 2% increase in damage, it has in equal measure actually enjoyable gameplay, and it pairs this up with the most hype music in existence that makes tears run down my legs. All of this comes together, pun intended, to make a damn good time playing this game. Okay, I'm still yet to really pin down Scar's attack pattern. Ignoring the L from fucking crotch zipper over there, let's talk about the world you will terrify at large. This is the current map, holding 11 bosses, 4 holograms, and houses that must have been made for fucking giants. Why is this shit so big? That's a question most of y'all won't hear, but I'm fine with the houses having the proportions of an LSD trip because it only serves to highlight the goddamn movement in this game. You can jump, air dodge, grapple, backflip, glide, climb. If you're a moron, that is, cause bitch, we got chakra control. We could run up a 90-degree wall. Hell, that's not even the best part. The greatest part is how you don't consume stamina by running outside of combat. We running marathons in this bitch. Hell, we're running those marathons up to the tip of Everest over there cause we ain't forced to slowly climb it. Running up 90-degree cliffs, grappling over crevices, air dashing to reach the peak of the mountain. Showing why the movement in this game makes the environment actually enjoyable to go through. Which, fuck, for an open world game, that feeling is unfortunately really rare. And at the peak of it all, the full culmination of our journey, we see it. Bro, I fucking love these devs. Now, in addition to the parkour, the Pokemon gathering, and the combat you can do, there is also a roguelike, which you can take on with a wide variety of characters. Okay, that shit's a lie. You can take in like 4. For the full release, I'm imagining we can take in everyone, but as of now, the options are about as varied as everyone's choice of waifu in this game. The reason as to why it isn't varied is because the buffs you can get in it are dependent on the character you bring in. So Rover gets a buff for her existing kit. Taoki gets, I don't know, a fucking nuke or something. I don't really know how you went up this one with buffs. Meanwhile, Baiji gets, I don't know, hopefully a fucking noble phantasm or some shit, dog. She really needs it. Bro, deadass, give her like the ability to summon Iskandar's army, cause we all know she ain't getting those W's on her own. Though as of right now, the roguelike is fairly bare-boned. Of course it's not at the level of Cursed Waves, but at the same time, the game's not even out. So what we have now is a nice proof of concept, and I can't wait to see more added onto it. The other game mode we got is, yeah, let me just speedrun the explanation. Spiral Abyss. That's all you really gotta know. Now, in terms of if there's, those? It looks like farming bosses to forcibly take them as Pokemon is where we would really see a similar system, as they got, you know, basically the same DNA. Now, in saying that, I have probably made 80% of you turned off from the game, 10% of you looking like grizzled war veterans remembering their times in the mines, 5% of you confused onto what the fuck I'm talking about, count yourselves lucky, and the remaining 5% of you are happy that this game has a similar system. And to those 5%, please heed my words. Open up Google Maps, type therapist near me. From there, each god roll you got equates to 1 week with much needed help. So across this review mixed with a shitpost, you have probably thought one thing to yourself. Damn, this motherfucker's a professional glazer. Holy shit, he be vacuuming this game. Put him in a hot dog eating competition with Riley Reid, and the skills he showcases within that will essentially be the equivalent to him taking a megaphone and shouting to the whole world that he is currently in the closet. God damn. Which is why I'm here to talk about the negatives of the game. So first up, something that is near and dear to my heart. we ain't got no fucking pulls. Across my playtime, I was able to do 92 limited banner pulls. It's 80 to guarantee a 5-star unit and 160 to guarantee the rate up unit. And the sources of pulls we got, well, it's 60 currency from dailies, 180 needed for a single pull. There currently isn't weeklies. I believe the roguelike shop refreshes every now and then, and we get not many pulls from that. Yeah, I'ma just say it. I think we need something to give more pulls. And the dupe system does give some pretty nice buffs to the characters. Though I also haven't felt the game to be difficult enough to where I really needed that shit. Hopefully it's like PGR to where it's strong buffs but never needed for clearing content. And another flaw is actually a Helldivers 2 reference. The reference being bugs. Cause fuck. There's a lot of them. Dialogue, resonance buffs displaying a different character's resonant buff, but thankfully that one's been fixed, and from what I've heard, so has the dialogue. Of course, this is a beta that exists to find the bugs and interrogate them to give up the locations of their friends and family, but I bring this up to say that the game may need some more time within the oven. For that, and to also give players a new source of pulls, cause the free-to-play economy is kinda looking like Niji Sanji's stock right now. But I would say that they really should have made it so people in CBT 2 just had all the characters so we can experience them and accurately comment on all their kits and death. But the biggest worry I got right now is one I didn't think I'd have. The story. It could be because it's only been the beginning of it, but I personally wasn't attached to the story at all. It just felt like a lot of exposition was being thrown at me. Walk to an area, hear yapping. Walk to a new area, hear yapping. That was kind of what I was feeling. But at the same exact time, this is the company that made fucking Surviving Lucem. In case you got zero clue what that is, imagine Peak, right? You'll crush it into dust, snort that shit. That's what the story felt like in Surviving Lucem, which is why I find it weird to say that I'm not invested in the story. Hell, even weirder is that they did a rewrite of it, but I'm still just not feeling it. It could be because the story stopped really abruptly due to the I've been saying it a lot, the fact this shit's a beta. Though I will say that before the main story was stopped, I was getting invested in it, so who knows, maybe it can nut up and clutch up in the second half. But I'm confident in saying that this first half is not it, Chief. There needs to be less exposition. Some of these characters might as well be trying to recite the Bible when only a few words can work in its stead. We also need to have some gameplay sprinkled in beyond just walking a little to get to that next yapping sesh. In particular, I don't know what to exactly do. I ain't a writer. Closest I've got to writing is my 40-page yaoi fanfic. Beyond that, my writing portfolio is equal to the dumbasses who try to write Game of Thrones Season 8. So in my personal opinion, the story we got now ain't full of cooking. End of the main story aside, that was fairly interesting. But with all that being said, there is something the story has which I love to see. A skip button. I don't even mean that in a way to say I can't stomach the story, I'm just glad to have that ability as I have been deprived of it for too long. Though by far story is the weakest aspect, but damn near every other thing this game does makes up for that fact. The combat is capital N nice with it. The capital N also stands for how it made me I've been seeing people come in and cook up some DMCS combos with the characters. And of course, that shit is definitely not optimal. But the gameplay is so damn fun to where I don't find the need to really optimize it. It's just enjoyable to fuck around with. The world is also nice to go through because the movement didn't make my character feel like two sliding cinder blocks. In its current state, I already really like the game. It's basically everything I wanted out of Kurogame making an open world game. Though for it to be truly god tier, the story needs to be improved and free to players are going to need more currency, which is why this CBT exists, to find these flaws and have players comment on them. So I'ma just say, if these flaws are brought out back in nuclear vaporized, then this game will be absolutely amazing. But even with that being said, I still loved my time playing the CBT, which is why I say that when Wuthering Waves drops, it will be one of the most popular gachas out there.